Death. And we're live. So, hey, good afternoon, America. Good evening, England. And I guess good morning for the two Australian guys that watch this.
Nice.
The Tripp Smokepit. We have comedian Diane Spencer with us today. And
hello.
Hello, world. But as what we were talking about before the thing, I was in Houston a couple years ago. And this is right after I got out of the Marine Corps. And we were at this bar. And I just rolled in that night. And I ended up hooking up with one of my buddies who I was an Afghan with, and I hadn't seen this guy in years. So we go to this bar, we get hammered, and then his girlfriend shows up pissed off that he didn't like come home. So she starts punching him in the face, right? And she's like 90 pounds, right?
So he comes. Did he just come back from somewhere from Afghanistan
No.
and you went straight to the bar with you?
No. He lived in Houston.
Right.
He just didn't come home from work.
Right. Okay.
Right. So she's mad, and she weighs like maybe 90 pounds, and like he's like 6'3" and big dude. And she starts punching him in the face, and then he's like kind of taking it, trying to push her off, and then she like punches him in the balls. So then he grabs her by the neck and picks her up, and then I'm like, oh god damn it! So like I start choking him out, and then me and him start fighting, and then when we end up stop fighting because we hear sirens, so we get up and we run into another bar, hop behind it, go out the kitchen door, and then while the cops are chasing us inside, we take a selfie with the cop car real quick and go to another bar, get obliterated, and then we go to this strip club, right? And first thing we do is I order a drink, but then I go to the ATM to get cash because, I'm not going to be drunk in a strip club and not be giving money out. I get like all 300 of my dollars, and I sit down like right at the front of the stage, and then like this poor woman comes out. She looks like Pippi Longstockings, but with like boobs. And she's like, "Hey, everybody, what's up?" Pulls her boobs out, and then like I exorcist puke on her from like 5 feet away, just like all right in the chest. And I go, "I'm sorry, ma'am. I have to be leaving," and put all my money down and get thrown out by the bouncers.
Yes. That fits the dictionary definition of cunted. That's what we were discussing. We were just sharing vocab. And apparently Tripp hadn't had the phrase cunted before, but I know that the people in Australia have. It's quite a regular phrase, I imagine.
Yeah, dude,
that's pretty impressive. That is what I love, is there's a lot to unpack about that story. Like, why was she so violent? Like, what is the rage there? Because that's like, for me, the start of the story, like, she's so angry. Like, that's not a loving relationship. There's, you have a chat, you sit down, but having like the fact that she wants to like knock him down, and you said that he was 6'3" and she's 90 pounds. Yeah, but he could be 90 pounds at 6'3". So how much does he weigh?
Oh, well, no, he was like, I don't know, almost 3, but like very little body fat.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
So she just turns up and tries to kick the shit.
Well, he tries to like not fight at first.
A brick outhouse? A brick shit house.
Brick shit house.
Thank you.
Or if you're cunted, it's a shit brick house.
Wow. There's so much there. I love the fact that you knew the siren was for you. I never make that assumption. But I sort of sound like this. And there have been times when I've been approached by the police, and as soon as I've started talking, they just seem to not want to arrest Mary Poppins, basically. They sort of go, oh, maybe not. I can't. Like, when my husband and I were first getting together, we were in Edinburgh, and we drove up Arthur's Seat. Yes. And we parked the car, and we had a great time. I don't need to elaborate, but we had a very, very, very good time. And it was very filthy, and there was fluid everywhere. And we'd sort of finished, and we were having a lovely chat because we've been mates for years as well. And it was at that point that the police pulled up, and the police is like, wow, they've got this timing wrong. And they sort of wound down the window. Now, earlier I'd had to deal with the police as well, because when we were driving up the hill, they'd closed it off. And I was like, oh, well, they've only closed off half the road. I'll just drive round the barrier and then go up the road. And the policeman obviously sort of, as soon as I drove around the barrier, they pulled me over in the car and they went, At this point, my future husband had quite a bit of combustible illegals upon him. And the police was like, I'm sorry, you can't. What? You just drove past the sign. You literally just drove past the sign. Why did you do that? And I went, because I thought you weren't watching, sir. He was like,
funny how that doesn't work.
No, it did. He sort of went, well, you shouldn't have. And I was like, I know. I've definitely done something wrong. And if you want me to leave, we will leave. We were just planning to have a picnic on your hill, officer. And he sort of thought about it. And he was like, do you know what? That sounds quite nice. Yeah, you go for it. You have fun. So we carried on up the hill, did all our dirty things. But then a different cop car comes back. Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
So then a different cop car comes back. And he knocks on the window, and the window is all steamed up. So we wind it down, and I went, hello. And the officer was like, what are you two doing? And I was like, we're enjoying a lovely sunrise.
So his first thought was like, you guys aren't teenagers.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Rub it in, mate. Yeah, I know. Try me. Hello, Daniel. I've just seen a comment from Daniel. Thank you. That's very kind. I saw it in the chat.
Oh yeah, no, he's one of my old Marine Corps buddies. But
oh, grand.
Yeah, no, I would do this thing whenever you had a new, because I think I don't remember if I just randomly found one day Charming Wit and Filth or All Pervading Madness, but then like after that, every time you had a new one that came out, I'd be like, guys, get in here real quick.
I really appreciated that. And you know something, when you just like, I initially just put something out on YouTube to give back, because I found some of my favorite comics when I worked in an office for financial services, and I just found these amazing comedians. And when I started doing it and I filmed a whole show, it was more of a historical document for me. And I thought, well, I'll just put it up there, and if anybody watches it, great. And yeah, and then I didn't even know that there were comments, and I didn't know how to read the comments for the first 4 years.
Ooh.
That was interesting.
Well, I mean, Google can help you out with that.
It was novel to suddenly realize people had not only watched like one of my things, but they'd written things underneath it. And my first experience of YouTube comments was your typical experience. So there was a range.
It's like, oh, this is great. Fuck you, asshole. Why is she a redhead?
Yeah. All sorts of weird stuff. Porn URLs, stuff like, you know what, you would be better if you did X, Y, and Z, like all of this. And
which is great, because it's like, well, if I could be better doing that, why aren't you doing it instead with all these great fucking ideas you have?
Oh, yeah. Is that one of our moments? We're going to lock eyes with people, keep them. Might not translate when you put just the audio up, but if you watch this later, you can also watch it on YouTube and see us lock eyes with you to keep your attention. Yeah, no, that was really sweet. And do you know what was really nice, actually, was when you sent me a photo, I think, of you and your mates just sat round and I was on the telly, because I don't have an agent. I don't have sort of that. I don't have any televisual recognition or anything like that. So I'm literally I'm creating because I love what I do. I love creating what I make, and to have somebody sort of take it and play it and show it to their friends and send me a photo, it's amazing. It just makes you walk on sunshine. It's fantastic.
Well, yeah, no, that's one of the beauties of YouTube nowadays. Like, there is a lot of gross, disgusting shit on it, but there's a lot of talented people that you would never find if YouTube wasn't around. Like, one of my big examples for that is like, you know, I'm a big metalhead, and in the mainstream, like, good heavy metal music's been dead since the 80s. However, it is alive and well on YouTube. Just people like, hey, check this out. And you would never find them if you didn't have that platform.
Nice. Although I had to, I was looking up metal bands, and I wanted to get some modern metal bands. I sound like such an old lady. For one of my videos, because I do these videos. If you don't know who I am, I'm a comedian, and I put up little videos sometimes. And I did a little sketch of somebody, and they were supposed to be in a heavy metal rock club. And I grew up in those clubs. We had a big rock scene.
Well, I mean, heavy metal's from England.
I had no idea. I'm very uneducated, and I don't mind admitting that.
Oh yeah, no, like I think what is it? Both Black Sabbath and Judas Priest are both from Birmingham. So
I'm not surprised. They like to rock out in Birmingham.
And then
Birmingham was one of the nicest cities. Whenever you go there, generally, I always have a great time in Birmingham. You know, there are some cities where just everybody just seems to not take themselves too seriously, and they seem to just have a bit of a laugh. Yeah, it's one of those places. It's great.
Which is infinitely better than places like, I don't know, Dallas or like San Francisco or Washington, D.C., where it's like, it's not that you have a stick up your ass, but I'm trying to gauge how big and long the stick up your ass is.
So the stick is just assumed. We know the stick exists.
Yeah.
Somebody's yelling in the chat, Slayer.
No, that's my buddy Damien. He's another sci-fi author. He wrote a really good book.
Cool.
Where is it? It's under a pile right now. It's called Big Red, but it's pretty much about like one of those conspiracy theories where like we've been on Mars fighting the aliens, or are they Nazis, or are they Nazi aliens, or is it all a mind control experiment? We don't know since like the 60s, but it's all like a covert thing. And, you know, if you are just kind of like down on your luck and, you know, some dude from the UN shows up and goes, hey, I have an opportunity for you. You want to go?
I have been approached by people who claim they have an opportunity for me. Doesn't quite pan out. Tends to happen at bus stops. They tend to be not cunted, but borderline, you know. Yeah, so I tend not to go with those opportunities. Have you found, as an author, because I can imagine that you also get approached by people who, once they see you have a certain level of success, they decide that they can scam you, because there's tiers of progression. And once you sort of cross into the first tier, where you sort of show that you're serious and you're putting in a bit of concerted effort, that's when the first pack of vultures tends to swoop. And they do it a lot in comedy. And you get people exactly like that, not like Damien's sci-fi come and fight aliens on Mars people, which would be more entertaining. But you get people who sort of approach you, and they're like, oh, hey, we could manage your YouTube channel for you. Or we could, if you pay us this money, we'll put your jokes all over the internet and all of this. Do you get that as an author?
Yes. I, although, have developed a system for responding to that, because they're like, hey, if you give us $500, you know, we'll do this and that for you or whatever. And I'll be like, oh, hey, cool. Check this out. On top of being an author, I'm also a painter. And I specialize in painting nude portraits, and I charge people $500 for that. So that $500 I would give you to do this, we'll call that even. You send me a bunch of naked pictures, and then I'll paint you, and I'll send that to you, and you take that $500 that I would have given you, invest it on my behalf, and just give me the returns. And for whatever reason, they don't want to do that.
What? They're mad. What? Paint me like your French girls, Tripp. That's mad.
Yeah, right.
Maybe it's the lack of props. Do you offer them props?
Oh, no. I have like 5 or 6 other friends that like I didn't paint them naked. I just kind of like Photoshop their face on like a portrait, like a famous nude portrait. And then I'll be like, no, dude, I have credentials. And then I'll have those other friends text them that picture. Be like, no, dude, he's a great author or a great painter. He painted this for me. Like, totally worth it, man. Do it.
Yeah, you really did disturb me with one of your Instagram posts where I think you put your face, you used some kind of app where your face was on many women. I think it was even on Lady Gaga. Yeah. And I was just like, oh my God, I can't stop watching. This is just wrong. It doesn't make sense.
Dude, I lost a lot of followers over that shit. And then like as soon as I saw that it was going down, I was like, oh, you motherfuckers did not. I'm going right back to that app and doing more. Fuck you guys. Why?
It was funny. It was silly.
Oh, what is it? Dan's asking, Diane, you have written several hours of comedy. How do you maintain such a high level of creativity when writing new material after all this time?
Oh, you're very kind, Daniel. I would say I'm very prolific. That's something that Tripp and I have in common. I mean, you can see, like, to be honest with you, how much Tripp writes absolutely astounds me. You're an absolute machine. You just go for it.
Well, the trick to that is bullshit.
I have to be quite brutal with my bullshit because it's comedy. So people are not like, I always have to remember that. I always have to go back to that. I think a lot of editing myself is important, but also I take myself seriously in some aspects, but not in others. So in terms of, I want to make this the best show I possibly can, I will take it really, really seriously, and I'll edit, write. Kev will direct me sometimes. He'll sort of help me out and watch it and be like, okay, there's a bit of a lull here. So I'll write, I'll rewrite, and I'll pull the idea apart as much as I can. But also in other ways, like there are some people and they seem to be fully fledged artists the second they pop out. They're like, this is what I do. This is my style. Blah. And fair play to them. But I just automatically decided I want to experiment, and making that conscious decision to say, okay, so with the first show, I'll just see what I've got. But with the second show, it was like, I want to do callbacks, you know, so I kept on sort of challenging myself. Oh, cameo by Kevin. I wanted to keep challenging myself. And so I started playing around with the format and the structure and the style, not doing comedy, but there are so many different styles of comedy. Joe Rogan's made a very excellent point on his podcast where he said something about, you know, music, you have all the different genres. And so like you can say, well, I love country. I don't love R&B. So you can choose to what you go to see, but you don't have that with comedy. People just go comedy. So part of that was sort of experimenting with different styles and not deciding I was a particular person early on. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you run your stuff by somebody like, so like do you have something like this, like when I get done with my books, like first draft, like it still needs a lot of work, you know, roughed out. Like I have somebody that's like a hype man, loves everything I do. I have somebody that reads the stuff and is my friend, but like will call me out on every level of bullshit. And then like somebody else is kind of like in the middle ground where they're whatever. And it's like, I want you all to read this. And then my goal is to make all y'all like this, even the guy that like hates most of it, you know?
I do pass it by people. What will happen is, first of all, I have to get used to saying it. And
I remember all that shit.
Yeah. And also, when you write a joke, it can be beautiful on paper, but as soon as you say it out loud, it's just like, oh my god, it's like you just feel like you're gargling your own teeth. It's just absolutely horrible. You're just like, and it makes no sense. So I have to get used to saying it, and I have to practice saying it with confidence, because the only way I can really show other people is if I sell it to them with confidence. I can't give it to them to read, because that's not how it's supposed to be heard. So then the next step, I'll probably, if I think it's like good, I'll choose my moment. If I want to share it with my husband, who is a comedian as well, but sometimes there are still jokes that I've initially said, and he's been like, you know, and vice versa. And then obviously I'll try and get in front of a crowd as soon as possible. I don't have anybody, like I don't have sort of friends that I will perform in front of to do it. I want to do it in front of somebody who is no interest in being nice. I want to do it in front of somebody who has no interest in sparing my feelings or laughing because they feel bad for me.
Like they're already half drunk and they have like a whole box of Rotten Tomatoes to throw at you.
That's the other extreme. I don't know if I'm necessarily that masochistic, but I would definitely, I want a fair readout of what's going on. And it's difficult because you have to do a joke sort of, you really do have to do a joke quite a few times, and you can even do one for like 6 years and then suddenly realize you've been saying it the wrong way around.
So, you know, cat went into the doghouse. Fuck.
Yeah, it's shit like that. You're just like, oh my God. Like you'll say it the wrong way around by accident, just one night, one gig. And then you'll suddenly go, oh, that was the way it was always supposed to be said. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, your friend has written a comment.
Oh, I like to write a joke and then try to take as many words out of it and maintain the same level of funny when it begins with it as I hope it works. Yeah, so Dan is a comic up in northern Pennsylvania, up in Erie. I think he goes between New York and Ohio, but he had a really good point about how everyone thinks they can be a comedian because they're funny at parties, and that doesn't translate.
Yeah. As everybody, you know, is finding out, we're immensely dull in real life. That's an excellent thing that Dan does with the whole take as many words out of it, to try and make it lean, and also changing words, and you can tinker with it for quite a while, but at some point you just have to suck it up and get out there and see if it actually makes people laugh or not. What does "I got swung on by a drunk blonde lady" mean?
He said a joke that she found offensive and tried to punch him.
Wow, is that what "I got swung on" means?
Yes.
That's great. So because she swung.
Yeah. Learning has occurred.
Pardon? Oh, what did you say?
Learning has occurred.
That's great. Do you know what? You got swung on. What? I mean, dare we ask? I mean, that's the thing. Like, everybody's got their own sense of propriety and morality. And fun fact: when you say something offensive, there is an actual part of your brain that gets affected.
Okay, all right.
So when somebody else does something offensive, an actual part of your brain gets affected, and it's the same part of the brain. I read this in a book by Steven Pinker, and there is the same part of the brain that gets affected when people have Tourette's disease. It's that part of the brain that causes them to spout the offensive stuff.
Huh.
So when you say a joke that offends someone, you have physically, you've hot wiped, you've done something, you've burnt out a circuit, and that's why she swung at you.
Do you have like backups for stuff? Like Dan's got a pretty good one where he talks about, or he has a couple things about like depression and like being in war and all that. But he's got one where it's like, oh great, so first I was in the Marine Corps, and then I thought this joke was gonna die like all my fucking friends did.
That's a fantastic joke.
Yeah. But
so do I have backup in case everybody hates me?
Yeah.
I've got like I think you walk on stage and you've got your A game, which is what is like route one, where you want to go, but depending on how they react, you then have to maybe change the plan. You can't do that when you film a special. And I've learned things about filming specials now, because now I've done about 8 of them. There are certain things now that I insist on, and I'm still sort of making amendments to make sure I get a really, really good one. I mean, everything, just improve as you go along. But I've been not threatened. No one's ever threatened to punch me, but I have had people come up to me and be very, very angry, and they've yelled in my face and they've pointed fingers in my face. And I was nearly arrested in Bahrain.
Well, I mean, that's your fault for being in Bahrain in the first place.
You know what? I totally own that. That was
Bahrain is terrible, and especially if you're a woman, because like you're not a person over there.
No shit.
Yeah. Where's your fucking burqa?
It was very interesting and terrifying. And what was interesting was that after we did the gig, and the next night we had to do a gig again, but we had to do it in a different venue. And I changed my set completely, and I had a great gig. I properly had a great gig. It's just the next night because I completely changed. It's still all my material, but I've just completely reshaped it and chosen different bits. And then in the bar afterwards, some guy tells me how he's never going to move back to the UK because there are pedophiles hiding under every bush. And I'm like, what? And he starts telling me about all the pedophiles in the UK, and that's why he'll never move back.
Well, he's not too bright because, like, you could say what you want to. I don't know what the pedophilia rate in England is, but I think the legal
under every bloody bush.
Yeah, Bahrain's not the place to go to if you're trying to get away from that.
But then he tells me not only is he not going to go back, but then he tells me. He starts talking in quite a derogatory way about Saudi women. And he says, oh, I'm not going to send my daughters to Saudi either. And I went, right, okay. And I'm just thinking, well, you've already been weird about the UK. I dread to think. And he does this. I say, what's that? And he says, that is a Saudi woman's asshole because they only take it up the asshole because you're not allowed to have sex. And I'm like, dude. And I'm not joking. I'm like, I got in trouble for what I was saying, and you're sat here giving me all this. It was, yeah. See, look, you're
so thing that happened to somebody I know, right?
Oh no,
we were
live, Evan.
Oh yeah, it's Evan, and then we'll go back to Dan's thing and why I got swung on here in a minute. But so I have a buddy that's a corpsman, right? Which is like a medic in the Navy. And, while we're over there, it's not all, bloods and guts and shoot stuff. There's a lot of, hey, help people out. Here's some food. Here's some stuff to grow. Also, you need medical attention to do this. And this Afghan dude and his wife come in, and this dude's been just kicking the shit out of his wife because she can't conceive. Right.
Oh my God.
They do the medical exam. Turns out they've never actually had penile vaginal sex. He's just been fucking her in the ass the whole time and couldn't figure out why she wasn't getting pregnant from that. So that thing about Saudi women's asshole being that, it's like, I mean, yeah, that's a reasonable thing to think because there's not education over there.
No, oh God, there's not a lot over there.
Yeah.
I mean, the more I learn about some places in the world, the more I'm so grateful for being where I am.
Yeah.
When I was born. It's just nuts, really.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't want to sound like a racist asshole, but it's like, I mean, like half their population don't count as people, so I don't feel bad about.
What does Dan say?
About the woman swinging on him. He said I was talking my entire set, even took a phone call, so I started, or she was talking his entire set, and she even took a phone call. And then he made a joke about terrible parents, and I said, obviously the drunk blonde woman in the back does. So she responded, fuck you. And then Dan said, no, thank you. I don't like my dick soaked in alcohol.
That's a fantastic comeback. That's lovely. That's very nice. Like sometimes, I know this isn't a bad heckle to have, but if you walk on stage and somebody tries to take your authority away straight away by doing a wolf whistle or something like that, which it does. I mean, it's a compliment, but it also takes away your authority and it puts you in a little bit of a on the back foot. I like to say, thanks, Dad. And that sort of knocks out a joke straight away. So then people are like, oh, she's funny. And we probably shouldn't interfere with her too much. And then if they keep interfering, they learn not to.
So what is a wolf whistle? Is that like a whip-hoo, or is that
they're not a howl.
Oh.
If they were howling, that would be quite entertaining. But I think maybe a howl might be. Do you know what? British audiences are very different. I did perform in America once. I had a couple of gigs because I came over to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry, Los Angeles, but.
Oh, how do you say it? Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I came to Los Angeles, and well, what really made me laugh earlier is when you said winter. There was no tea. You went, we've had winter. And I was like, what's
winter?
he had?
Winter?
Winter.
Yeah, winter. Well, I mean, like at the same time, though, you guys don't pronounce the R's at the end of words. It's like
we don't like them.
Yeah, it's like, well, then why is that letter there?
I don't know.
Actually, I do know the answer to that, by the way. So you know how like English and German used to be like the same language like 2,000 years ago?
I'm going to say yes.
Okay, so English and German used to be the same language. The reason that English is the way English is because the Anglo-Saxons were from some part of where Germany is now. But in that like Germanic language, they don't do the same thing either. So like if you said like mina is MEINER, which just means like mine, but like possessive. You don't pronounce the R at the end of that either. Like they don't do that. So apparently in actual English, the Queen's English, R is silent and is pronounced like a she might be, fuck, I don't know. And then we went and butchered it,
No, not at all. I heard a podcast about the difference between the accents, and there was a theory that it was to do with space. And there's a lot of theories to do with how accents have developed. Is actually to do with sort of the country you're in. There's a funny comic called Mickey D, and he does a great thing where he sort of screws his face up because the sun's too bright because he's Australian, and he shows how your accent gets warped the more you screw your face up. And this podcast that I listened to basically said that in America they had so much space that the accent grew with the space. You had space to kind of, whereas in Britain we don't. I don't know.
Oh, no, see, I always thought it was from because like, way back in the day when everybody came over here, it was like everybody from Europe. But then it was like, all right, well, we're speaking English over here. I know all you French bastards are here too, but you're speaking English now. And they're like, all right, cool. Well, we're going to pronounce the R at the end of it. Or I'm sorry. All right, it's cool. We will pronounce the R at the end of the word.
What were we talking about before the accent thing? There was something else. Comebacks. Right. So now I wanted to tell you a story. There was a gig, something horrible happened. Oh, I can't remember. It'll come to me. Evan, what is dig for? Oh, you're looking at the back. You're looking at my wall.
Oh, yeah. What? Well, no, he said, what's dig for exam? And then what's dig for Eden? And it's not Eden. It's Aiden? Yeah, what is that? Eden. Is that like digging down into the center of the earth to find the ancient society that lives at the core of the earth because that's where the Garden of Eden was?
So close. No, it's a bit of backstory for a little sci-fi series that I made, a comedy sci-fi. And the idea was that there's this planet called Eden, and they decide to send a lot of their population, about 6% of their population, to another planet to mine and send resources back. But they only sent the ginger people.
So kind of like Australia, but with gingers instead of convicts.
Yeah, I guess. You're trying to start drama, aren't you? You're like,
yeah, don't make me whip out my fucking Shakespeare.
Yeah, so that's what it is. So when I make little videos, I like to make pictures, and when I'm doing stories, I don't know, I just like to embellish them, and that's a piece of artwork from it. And there's actually sort of a selection of them around. There's one over there with the little. That one is one that Tripp actually painted there. And that one is another one which says "To Lackmoss from Eden." And this is something I got off Etsy, which is a sci-fi. It's a blueprint of Hadley's Hope, the colony from Aliens.
Do you guys have like bad like talk show afternoon morning shows where it's like, hey, we're gonna have this person come on here and spill all their drama, and then be like, oh, hey, this is actually the father of your baby, and I never thought you'd meet this guy before.
We had one called Jeremy Kyle, and he's currently in court.
Okay.
I can't remember what happened with Jeremy Kyle. Oh my God. Oh yeah. My husband just said, I think somebody killed themselves after being on his program. And he was one of those people who was very much like that, and he was always very combative, wound people up. It was pure like car crash television, and and I think
Jerry Springer.
Yeah. But Jerry always seemed to me to be slightly. He always seemed to be smirking to me. Like he always seemed to just be like, I can't believe this is happening. This is ridiculous.
Well, he was on for like 20 years, so I mean,
maybe it's just like any minute now they're going to cancel me. Any minute now, and he just can't wipe the smile off his face. I don't know.
Well, anyway, since we're talking about that kind of stuff and people you never thought you'd see, but again, I brought out your friend from Headley's Hope. He's gonna.
That's great. I'm not joking. My sister has quite an extensive collection of xenomorphs and face huggers. She even has them in plushie form. We're going to talk sci-fi now, so I'll change my costume.
Real quick before we go on this, because I know we talked about Alien earlier, and I want to get your thing on that. But I don't like the word xenophobic, as a term for racism, because like, of course I'm xenophobic. Have you seen a xenomorph? Of course I'm fucking afraid of it. Why would I not be terrified of this thing?
I don't know. I've got to the point now where, because I've seen all the films and I grew up watching the films, and my sister actually bought me Alien Isolation to play. Play it. It's a great game.
God, it is so. Dude, what's great about it is like the Alien. It's got like its AI is a learning computer. So if you keep doing the same stuff, it'll figure out what you're doing and kill you.
Oh,
yeah. You have to change it up all the way through.
That's yeah. So, but when I was first playing it, so there's like I haven't got very far, but there's this bit where I'm just crawling through some air vents, and I heard this noise, and then as I get around the corner, all the lights were swinging, and I was like, oh, I nearly found it, and I was like crawling after it, like I'm gonna find it, and it was like I probably shouldn't be heading towards it with such glee. Just
this is an adventure. This is a horror story. What the fuck? I don't even have a gun.
I'm running towards. I'm like, I'm gonna see the thing. I'm gonna see the thing.
And then you do find it, and then it's like, I hope you didn't like your face because.
Well, there's lots of. If you read around it, there was a graphic novel I read once. I can't remember what it was, where they caught the alien, of course. And they're doing tests on it, of course, and they give these sort of fear-inhibiting drugs to these soldiers. And when the soldier goes in and the alien tries to attack it, and the sort of soldier sort of gets in the alien's face, it's the alien who goes, "Oh my God, okay, yeah, no, you carry on, son. It's all right." And it was this whole thing of, oh, it's all to do with the telepathy, and that's how they find you. But I don't know.
There was one I read. Remind me later. I'll send you the screenshot for it for what it was. But it was a graphic novel, and you know how they had the robot synths?
Yes.
So in this one, they were breeding the xenomorphs. Like they had like a beehive full of them inside of this colony, and they couldn't send people in to go check on it, kind of like you would have like a beekeeper go do their thing. So they made a synth that looked like one of the xenomorphs, but it like talked, had conversations with people. It also like chain smoked and was an alcoholic.
That's very funny.
And
That's
then
nice.
like when shit hit the fan, as it normally does, he's going around with like the plasma rifle, like smoking a stogie, just like downing Jack, like these goddamn xenomorphs. But like when I'm reading it, like I couldn't imagine the alien not speaking like a gangster from the 30s. Like, man, the aliens are here, she.
Wow. I love the fact that's where you went with that.
Yeah. Because we don't know that they wouldn't talk like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. No, we have no proof of anything anywhere. And talking of, you did ask my opinion before we went live, what I thought of Alien Covenant. And I told you that I just had to stop myself from spitting on my own floor. It's not a terribly ladylike response, but there we go. I have been heartbroken by films before. Like for me, when I just saw this claptrap, it was deeply upsetting because Prometheus had elements in it that I appreciated. and it had elements that contributed to the original Alien film with Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
However, I mean the flute scene, the panpipe flute scene,
and then
really?
what he makes out with himself.
Just like, also, what kind of party lands on a planet and the first thing they see is a load of dead people and they're like, oh yeah, let's go with the one living thing. This makes sense. Like, nobody questioned the fact that there were thousands of dead people around. I hated it. I hate a lack of logic. I hate a lack of reality. And like, but I know that sounds stupid because we're talking about sci-fi.
Well, no, I was going to say it's not to insult you, but it seems glaringly obvious that you've never read about European expansion into Africa, because there was a lot.
I have not, and
there's a lot of dead people here. Let's go kill some more of them.
But for me, the whole film was just it was a real shame, because like, when I don't mind how fantastical a film is as long as it adheres to its own logic. And when it starts to fail within its own logic, I find it very difficult. I think it's Terminator Genesis. I sometimes get the titles confused.
Which one was that?
I think it's the one where they actually get John Connor inside Skynet, because they've locked Kyle Reese in a box, and they only send one naked Arnold after him. It's a Terminator fucking factory, and you sent one robot.
Yeah, that part never made sense. It's like, we're going to send like one guy before you're born, one when you're a kid, one a little bit later. It's like, if you look at the universe, they have the ability to send as many as they want. Why don't they send like a supercomputer back?
For me, when I saw the wait, so you do know that John Connor's a threat? Because if you do know he's a threat, why have you not just terminated him? That is your job. Like, so it's things like that can annoy me about sci-fi, I'm afraid. Anyway.
Well, the other thing though too with that is like, okay, so you can send like, what is it? Like, you can't send anything back unless it's like human flesh, right? Which doesn't make any sense to me, but sure, we'll go with it. Why don't they have like
that's strong?
Yeah, like, why don't they have like a bag of like super like lasers and plasma rifles just in like a flesh bag that as soon as he gets there, you know, he opens up and then puts clothes on and grabs whatever, you know?
That could be the next film. We've sent back a proper Terminator wrapped in bacon. We've borrowed Lady Gaga's dress. We're going to wrap up a super gun. We call them pigs in blankets. That's what we call that when you get a little sausage and you wrap a bit of bacon around it. That's called a pig in a blanket.
Yeah, over here, a pig in a blanket is a sausage wrapped in like bread.
Is it? Oh, in ours is like a sausage wrapped in bacon, which seems perverse, but it's delicious.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, is that any worse than like a what is it, like a bacon cheeseburger? Where it's like, hey, we're gonna milk you, we're gonna cut you apart, and then we're gonna ferment your milk and make cheese out of it, and then put it on your dead carcass and eat it.
Well, now you explained it like that. I'm not going to Burger King tonight. Yuck.
You're right. I'm going to Wendy's because Burger King sucks.
I used to watch some reaction channels on YouTube. Thank you, Tommy. I used to watch some reaction channels on YouTube because I was fascinated by these huge people. They have like BMIs of God, I don't know what, like 50, 60. And they do these things called mukbangs. And they just seem to eat about 8 pounds of cheesy noodles. And I can't watch that. I find it traumatic. But I can watch a reaction channel watching that, and they gag for me. And then I laugh at them gagging. Yeah.
So what is that, sympathy gagging?
What?
What is that, sympathy gagging? Someone else?
Yeah. It's like passive gagging. It's like secondhand gagging. Have you ever seen one of those, like a mukbang with the?
I don't know. I don't know what mukbang is. That's a linguistic barrier.
It used to be where I think it originated in either I can't remember. It might be Japan, it might be Korea. I don't know, and I apologize to anybody who's like, oh yeah.
How dare you not know this obscure cultural thing?
Well, like it used to be like people sort of filming themselves as they eat, because that way they would have company as they ate. So they live broadcast their eating when they eat alone. So it would be like, oh, we're together. But what has happened is it's been warped and bastardized. Funnily enough, some people do blame many Americans, and now it's like, here I've got a plate of 50 pounds of noodles, I'm gonna eat the whole thing, and you're like, you are not. And they try, and you're like,
well, two things. That the first one is like anytime like I understand Americans are a little fucked up, but anytime somebody British says anything about it, it's like, well, Britain started in America, so where do you think I learned it, Mom? But
I'm sure we're to blame at the end of the day. That's fine.
But, what is it? I had a buddy, like, because we had our like little drinking group, and we were, for lack of a better term, assholes. But
Okay.
one of my buddies brought his brother over, and his brother, we found out, was a sympathy puker. So, like, if you puked, he'd be like, "Oh God." So what we did was we all went and got a bunch of beer, and we were just pounding beer, right? Like drinking like a 6-pack in like a minute, right? So the alcohol wouldn't get to you, but all that carbonation in there needed to come out. So we'd just be puking up foam, and he'd be like, "Oh God." And then like as soon as like we got done, we'd go like smoke a cigarette, hang out for whatever, and then like somebody in the other room just like come outside, "Hey guys," and then he'd be like, "Oh God, no." Oh.
I bet he had a lovely time.
Oh, he did. He never talked to any of us again besides his brother, but
I'm not surprised. You should tell you what, I'll have to send you a link to something. It's all about drama, and I know you like drama. So yeah. What do you try? What sort of reaction? What if Arnold Schwarzenegger actually responded to you? What would you want him to say?
It wouldn't matter what he said. Just that he responded at all would be enough for me. If it was like that's great. You're awesome. I'd be like, yes. And if he's like, that was not funny. Fuck you. I'd be like, oh my God, Arnold Schwarzenegger told me to go fuck myself. This is the best day ever. Dude, no. So like,
you get that on a t-shirt, like the whole post where he told you to go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Did I get a t-shirt made out of it? And then I sent it to my dad. It's kind of funny because my dad kind of looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the face. Not enough to like pass him off as it, but enough to pass it off as a half brother. And when I was in high school, I told my girlfriends that my dad and Arnold Schwarzenegger were like half brothers, and they'd be like, "Yeah, I can see that." The other thing though too is there's a thing called atom measurements, where it's like you're working out a lot, and your arms, your legs, and your neck are all the same size.
Yeah.
And, my dad is very he's the kind of guy that he has a goal, he gets to the goal, and then never does anything again. So he worked out for years to get like jacked like that. And like the first day, he was like, "All right, neck, arms, and legs are the same size. Sweet." Never went to the fucking gym again.
Wow.
It's like, did it. I'm done.
That's crazy. Like putting in all that. That's amazing. But also to just shift up all his focus straight away. Tommy says that Mr. Schwarzenegger replies to politics on social media and nothing else, to be honest. So
I think
Shakespeare might not be cutting it, mate.
So I'm just gonna have to do a fucking Donald Trump speech, just like, but like in his voice.
I remember when he called Donald Trump a wet noodle. That was great. You're a wet noodle. That's amazing that your dad did that though, to work so hard and to build up, because that would have been like, that's a proper habit. That's a proper immersion in trying to, because there's so much that goes into getting that kind of shape. It's not just lift thing, put thing down. It's like, it's nutrition. It's proper bulking and cutting and all of that. Oh my God. What? And then he just went, "Oh, done. Stop."
Yep.
What?
He had a goal. He met his goal. And then.
So like, do you have any goals like that? That if you met it, you would then just abandon everything else?
Yes.
Abandon it once you met it?
Yes. Gather $1 billion in US dollars in my bank account.
And then you would stop gathering dollars.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah.
That's
So
good.
like maybe the writing thing will pay off. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to go visit some of my buddies in Ireland and go leprechaun hunting.
Leprechaun. Yeah. We ate the unicorns. We wrapped them in their bacon. It was nice.
I was reading this thing, and I don't know how much truth is to this because there isn't a there's an archaeological proof to it. But there's this theory that unicorns did used to actually exist, but for whatever reason, the Romans hated them and then just like murdered them into extinction. Which on one hand, it's like that kind of sounds like bullshit, but on the other hand, it's like, yeah, the Romans tended to do that.
Well, I mean, I have a thought on this. So the unicorn horn would have been a prized thing, much like a rhino's horn. And I can assume that people would have associated it with fertility. Are we all in agreement? Yeah? Okay, so...
Wait, is that fertility as in grind it up and snort it, or fertility as in, like, cut it off, give it to your wife when you're not around so she's not banging other dudes?
I mean, on behalf of the women of ancient Italy times, I say it'd be quite fun. Yes, please. But I don't know. But when I went to Pompeii, because, before my job became illegal and I didn't leave my house, I went places. And we went to Pompeii, and they have many, many stone cock and balls poking out of the walls. And they have them in the floor. They have stone dicks hanging off the corner of buildings. Many of them point towards the brothel. It's great. And I was literally tripping over dicks in Pompeii. And they saw them as sort of signs of good luck and prosperity. And I wrote a lot of this was going to be in show 9. And but I felt it was a little bit too much like a sort of an audio book, weirdly enough, about my travels in Pompeii and going.
What I did before COVID.
Hey?
Listen to what I did before COVID.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, now, I definitely want to rewrite.
Yeah.
Oh, see, look, there's Tommy. Tommy is saying that the Romans were obsessed with the penis. And there are no rainbows in Ireland? Tommy, you can't say that. There's definitely rainbows in Ireland.
Also, I don't think that's fair to say that the Romans were obsessed with penises. Everyone's obsessed with penises. That's the thing.
I think actually we've unfortunately become prudish, and I think it's probably natural, and instead it's been suppressed because so many ancient cultures saw it as a symbol of good luck and prosperity. And
can you imagine if it was good luck and prosperity, kind of like the rabbit's foot, where you have to cut it off and wear it on a keychain? It's like, yeah, dude, this is an actual dude's penis. And
oh my god, no, not cutting it off, but I meant just put it on a greetings card and give it to your child. Good luck for your exam.
Right. But if I wrote a letter with a big dick on it, it's like, hey, Merry Christmas.
Good luck, mate. Sign it with a big dick. Yeah, so I can imagine that if the unicorns existed and the Romans I keep saying Romans, that's wrong. The ancient Italians, if they sort of saw this horse with a big old dick on its head, I can imagine that they were like, I don't know, I wouldn't have thought they would have hated it though. Where did you read this? Was this a dream? Did you have
it was on the internet. No, but there was another thing where they had some plant in Southern Europe that its seeds kind of looked like a heart, and they think that's where the heart logo comes from. But that heart, if you shove it up your vagina, you it'll block the sperm, so you won't have kids. So they use it as a birth control measure.
Oh,
and
they use balls.
Yeah, that one is documented that they harvested it and used so much of it that the plant died or went extinct in 200 AD. So there is other things that the Romans fucked into extinction.
Literally.
Yeah. now that I think about it, they might have fucked the unicorns into extinction.
There was, they had some interesting rules. If you were a citizen of Rome, you were not permitted to be penetrated if you see, only men could be citizens, so you were not permitted to be penetrated. However, you could gleefully penetrate anybody and anything else, and that was their rule actually on homosexuality. They were like, as long as a citizen is not being penetrated, he's allowed to penetrate whoever he likes.
Now, is penetration only anally, or could you still like go around giving dudes blowjobs?
I'll be honest with you, the tour guide was not necessarily, this was not exactly what he wanted to be chatting about.
That's unfortunate.
You
can't say that kind of stuff and expect me not to ask afterwards. Like, shit, tour guide. You should have found somebody else.
I can only imagine what I can't wait until you come to England and you go on one of those open top tour buses. We have these like our double-decker buses that we have in London. Yeah, and they've just got the roof missing. And you basically drive around and you get somebody sort of going, and here to the left we have Buckingham Palace and blah 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 blah. I can only imagine the sort of questions and shit that you would throw at this poor out of work actor.
Is that what they all are?
I would say so.
Oh.
I love it, like Tommy's getting. Damien likes tripping over dicks in Pompeii. Perhaps it could be the title of a book.
It could be. But it's not a historical thing. It's a historical erotic fiction.
Oh, I like. Nice. Yeah. All sandals, togas, run. Yeah, no, I get it.
And then at the end of the whole thing, after everyone's done coming on each other, the mountain explodes and blows.
It's not bloody Hamlet, mate. We can leave some people alive at the end.
No, the mountain blows its hot, juicy load all over all the people of Pompeii. And
nice.
And they were stuck. Or, I'm sorry, not stuck. They were fixed in eternity in their final coming breath.
Oh. If you have sympathy gagging, please shield your ears now.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have children watching, you're a bad parent. You should have left a long time ago.
We went. It was a really fascinating trip, actually, and that's why I ended up writing. Like I write about anything that fascinates me, but equally at the same time, you have to be aware that now I've built up a certain audience. So it's weird. So on one hand, like I kind of wanted to talk about all sorts of things to do with Pompeii and the volcano and stuff like that. But on the other hand, I have to remember that I've got people who are sat there going, hand job jokes. And so like, look at that, the action even. I'm skiing. So yeah, have you as an author, because obviously the way you describe your books is very like, you use multiple words, which I think is very, very good. Because it's like, sci-fi, military, but you've also put veteran in there. Like when you do a thing in your post, you have all these like loads and loads of tags. Would you ever like write something that is not necessarily totally different, but like only goes down one particular alleyway?
Yes, but when I do that, it's trying to trick the how do I want to say this? So like it's trying to trick the romance readers and read my stuff, because I think there'd be a good kick out of it, because people will like read like romance readers are almost as bad as like porn addicts in the manner they're like, it has this word in it, it must have something to do with this. Let me go read this entire thing to see what's up with this. It's like there has to be some.
Wow, you mean like fetishist people?
Yeah. It's like, so there has to be some romance in this, and it's like, oh, so this poor girl was giving a blowjob and puked on his dick, and then he puked on her face after this, and then they tried to get in the shower to clean up, but they couldn't because they were so slick in each other's stomach acids and bile that they couldn't get to the shower. Yeah, that's romantic, right?
So romantic. Oh my god, it's like Romeo and Juliet for the modern age.
Yeah. Except for, they weren't 13 and didn't kill each other because they're idiots.
I know. Isn't it like weird that you sort of get introduced to things like when you're younger and people go, oh yes, this is Romeo and Juliet, and then only later when you sort of discover things you go, so wait a minute, they were 13 and 4, sorry, stop. And just it's weird how you never get the full information at the start because everybody's decided that all the other points outweigh that thing.
Yeah. Well, that and it's like what 500 years old. So if it's still around, it must be valuable. It's like, yeah, cool. Let's go read Macbeth real quick. You got this poor dude that's in this terrible situation that doesn't want to fucking commit mass murder, but his wife's a fucking asshole and gets like, hey, listen, I'm gonna give you these daggers. Go kill the king real quick. Commit high treason and coup d'etat. And he's like, okay, baby. And then he like stabs it. I brought the knife back to you, and he's like, "You fucking dumb fucking." Oh, how do you say it in English? You daft cunt. I'm gonna take this knife back, and we're gonna blame his guards for doing this. And then also, I'm gonna need you. Do you love me? Do you love me? I need you to kill your friend and his kids, and like your other friend and his kids. Their ghosts aren't real. You're having a hallucination. PTSD is not a fucking thing. Why are you upset about murdering these people? And then
you love Shakespeare, don't you? It's not.
She has the gall to fucking kill herself and not fucking face the consequences of her own fucking actions. And then poor Macbeth is like, all right, well, they said that no one born of a woman can kill me, which means only God could kill me. And this other dude is like, no, joke's on you. My mom had a C-section. I'm going to cut off your fucking head. Which it is like, I don't mean to like shit on Macbeth because I fucking love Macbeth. I think it's a great story.
Did not. Do you know what you just did do? You just did do, in my opinion, a very good performance of One Man Macbeth, American translation. That kind of stuff gets done at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. You could have charged everyone for that. That would have been great.
No, I couldn't do that because I come over there and I'd speak with my flat American accent and they'd be like, what does that mean?
No, they would love it. They would love it. It would be great. So sort of an American's interpretation of Shakespeare. And you do as many as you can in the space of an hour where you talk through each of the plots. I think people would find it hysterical. But we didn't have the festival this year. Maybe next year.
Thank you.
The younglings all get killed, says Tommy. Eric Pickle, do you bite your thumb at me?
Oh, so on that though, with the younglings getting killed, there's a beer we have over here. It's not everywhere. It's mostly on the East Coast, but it's called Yingling. But it's spelled youngling, but instead of that U, there's an I there. And it's our oldest beer. It's not the best, but I like it. I think it's like from the early 1700s or whatever. But they have all these memes of Anakin Skywalker, you know, where it's like, hey, he's killing all the younglings, but they Photoshop it out to where it's like he's just like pounding all these beers, like he slaughtered these younglings. Like, hell yeah, brother.
That's brilliant. That's lovely. I did wonder what was going to happen to Corona beer when this all kicked off.
Well, I know that you had a bit somewhere. I don't remember if it was, I think it was in one of your YouTube videos where you're talking about how you're playing video games with Americans. You had to explain how the world isn't flat. There was a thing where, March, April-ish, where we had to explain that coronavirus isn't transmitted through Corona beer, but, you know.
Oh, no.
But, like, I think in 26 of the 50 states, it's still legal to marry your cousin, so, you know.
Wow.
Not that I don't love America, because this is the best place ever, but, like, and not saying that my cousin isn't hot. But,
yeah, but that's the key thing. We want to make sure your cousin still knows she's hot. But that's like, we've discovered, to be honest with you, like watching the news every day and watching how people have reacted to this. I think we've just been made aware of how many people are selfish idiots everywhere. I don't think it's, you know, it's something that only one country has. Like, we were watching the news and we're clearly running out of tests. Yeah. But you can just tell that when some people get in front of a news camera, they just sort of start honking like a mad goose and they just start regurgitating all the stuff that they think they should say, which they think they've read before. And there was this woman, and I can only describe her as a 3 foot tall necklace, toothless blob. She was literally she can barely see over the car window. She's got no neck, and her head is sort of just on the shoulders. And as she starts talking, most of her teeth are missing. I'll be honest with you, she's not got a lot going for her. And that seems quite harsh retrospectively to say, but you do make judgments about people, I'll be honest. She didn't look like she'd maybe taken care of herself, put it that way. But then she just looks at the camera. Yeah. She looks at the camera, she goes, there's no tests. There's no tests. There's no testing sites. There's no testing sites anywhere in the UK. You're at a testing site, pop it. What are you talking about? Like, do you know what I mean? So we've sort of discovered that quite a lot of people are a bit not all there in the way that they're dealing with this.
See, what I got out of that is the UK's news is as stupid as ours. It's like we have a serious issue we need to talk about right now. There are scientists working on this. The government is balls deep in this kind of, but really there's
nice. They should get you to write their press statements.
But we're going to talk to random asshole on the street number 1. What's your opinion on this?
Yeah.
I don't think that they should be doing this. Like, why does Bill down the street who lives in a fucking trailer getting airtime on national strategy?
It was amazing. We saw quite a few people like that. We saw one, there was a man and his child, and he just went, oh yeah, so we've been self-isolating because we went away. So we've been self-isolating for 2 weeks now. And then we were walking, because we've been indoors, not seeing anyone for 2 weeks. And then we saw the COVID testing site, and we were like, oh, let's go get a test. Let's go get a test if we've got it. It's like, you fucking moron. You've been self-isolating for 2 weeks. You don't have it. You'd have it by now. Don't waste a fucking test. And another lady admitted live on air that she'd lied about being a key worker, which is our sort of code for if you're a nurse or a doctor or somebody like that. Yeah. And she just admitted live on there that she had lied about being a key worker so she could get a test. So it's very much, all right, okay, yeah, all for one, and yep, you guys all just do your own thing. Yeah,
See, I'm still not convinced, though, that the whole COVID thing is actually a government conspiracy to hide ugly people behind masks.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. That's a joke.
I know. It's a good joke. Sorry. It's a good joke. It's a good joke. I'm a comedian. I don't laugh out loud at all of them. I go, oh, I see what you've done there. Nice. Nice. Yeah, good. The structure was good. You didn't use too many words. Lovely. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
It was silly. Yeah, it was silly. It brought me joy. I am joyful. Well done.
Is that how you say it? It brought me joy. Yes.
It brought me joy. Well done.
Bring me a tall glass of brandy and a cigar. Yes.
Tommy's written something rude in the chat.
Oh, well, I mean, I would, Tommy, but like, I don't have that swing set. I'm sorry.
You surprised me.
With?
Okay, so what have you got? Have you got a mask?
Yeah.
Because I would not believe about the amount of people who are actually being quite anti-mask, and I thought I knew them better, and I am very surprised. And I realize some people are anti-mask. I'm not. I'm very pro-mask.
Yeah.
But it does surprise me that some people who I thought were quite reasonable, intelligent people have gone straight into the anti-mask pile. And I do question. I actually, it's rude to question their intelligence. I don't question that, but what I do question is why, when the scientific evidence is so strong for masks, people wouldn't wear them.
Yeah, see, I thought that was an American thing, but I guess that it's good to hear that you guys have the same problems.
Yeah. I think every country has the same problem. Really. Tommy says mask is rules. They can all fuck off. Oh, is it to do with like rules?
Well, no. It does go with rules because like you know,
another Americanism I've misunderstood.
No. Because think about it. Because like before, think before COVID, right? Like everywhere I go, the government's tracking me. You know, they see my face on all these security cameras. They're tracking me 24/7. Like I can't get away from it. It's like, wait a minute. I have a solution for you. You just wear a mask into a bank because that's normally fucking legal, right? It's like everywhere you go now, like nobody knows who you are. Mask, sunglasses. You could be fucking Machine Gun Kelly or fucking Al Capone. No one knows who you are, you know? No. All of a sudden, I don't want to hide my identity anymore.
It suddenly meant, I think, that a lot of celebrities who don't necessarily live like in Celebrityville, you know, basically in Hollywood, it means that they've just actually been going out to their local supermarket. Like I saw Carl Urban. Is that how you say his name?
I think so.
Yeah, I saw like he posted a picture of his local supermarket because he's got the wee shades and the thing on, and like it's just like just walking around, just having a nice time because nobody's going to come up to him and ask for an autograph or anything like that. He's just, so you might as well.
Yeah. Do you guys have the other assholes though that are like capitalizing off of it? Like, hey, listen, I put like, if you give me $20, I'll write your name on your masks.
Of course we do. Of course we do. We have people selling trikinis now.
What the fuck is a trikini? It matches your bikini.
Where your mask is the same material, pattern, or print as the rest of your bikini. It's a trikini. Oh.
No, see, like my only real concern with the whole mask thing is I don't really see a difference between like the mask you buy off Etsy that's got your name or whatever on it, and then like my I guess they're called schmogs or like kefias, the fucking like the rags, not the rags, the cloths you get from whatever. Like I've just been wearing that, like wrapping around my head. But like I walk into like the grocery store with this whole thing like wrapped around, like like I got this much fucking exposed, and it's like, wait, I can walk around dressed like I'm about to fucking suicide vest this fucking place, and no one's gonna give a shit. I'm gonna go buy all the fucking shawarma right now.
That's your mission in life, to get all the shawarma. I do like a chicken shawarma. I haven't had dinner yet.
What?
I do love a kebab. Yeah, no, I really do. It's actually one of my favorite foods. It's quite funny. It's quite funny the things that you miss. Like these assholes selling. Matt Damon spent the lockdown here in Ireland. See, there you go. It's because they can just like Matt Damon. It's because they can just move around and not be recognized. It's just nice.
Yeah. Dude, like that's like one of those things where I guess not really to change the subject, but like keep on it. The shawarma thing was Mediterranean or like Arabic food wasn't big in America before like 9/11, and then for whatever reason, like afterwards, like, hey, I know we're at war with these guys, but here's their food, and it's like, all right, so I'm gonna need like 3 plates of hummus because that little dish you bring out isn't enough. And I'm not trying to be a fat fuck right now, but like, bring me all that fucking pita bread.
Do you know what? When I came, when I came to America, the portion sizes are huge.
Yeah,
I put on weight. Like I put on like maybe 6 or 7 pounds just over 3 weeks because I was. I mean, it's my fault. I could have just put the fork down.
But those fucking taco trucks.
I didn't even go near taco trucks. Like I'm like eating salads and stuff. Like, but the salad would come out. It'd be like literally like
2 heads of lettuce
and just like with a big chicken on. And you're like, what is this? And salad has mayonnaise on it, which makes no sense.
Oh, my favorite thing about America is if you take potatoes and cover them in mayonnaise, it's a salad.
It's not. It's just potatoes and mayonnaise. I mean, if anything, what you're missing from that is grated cheese, and then you want to cook the whole thing or something.
Yeah, that's what we do. It's called potato salad.
I did a night. I had an agent, an American agent, and I think I was supposed to move over there, but I sort of I couldn't manage it at the time. And she said, "I've got you a gig, but you're on the Mexican night." And I was like, "But I'm not Mexican." And she said, "Yes, but it was really the only gig where I could get you on, and you sort of you can be the novelty thing in the middle." And I was like, okay. So
you're the circus freak.
Hey?
So you're the circus freak.
Pretty much. Because everybody was just there to see Mexican comedians, and just they love it because like in England we're getting better at talking about race. And the comics are actually really good. There's a Greek comedian I know, and she does this lovely bit. I can't remember her name right now, but she does this really fantastic bit about the difference between British women. Like when you say a compliment to a British woman, she'll sort of stiffen up a bit. Like if you yell at her in the street, you say, "You look beautiful," she'll kind of go, I don't know what to do. And she'll sort of,
"No, I'm not." Wait.
Well, not no one, but definitely like, like, am I going to be raped? Like kind of it's intense. But my friend who's Greek was very much like, she said, how do I know that I'm beautiful or not? How do you know if the men aren't yelling at you? And she said that when she walks down the street and a Greek man goes, "I want to be a bead of sweat that runs down your body," she's like, "Oh, thank you very much. Thank you." And she loves it.
Wait, hold on. I want to be a bead of sweat that runs down your body. I wish people would say that to me.
Aw, are people not catcalling you enough, Poppet?
Well, I mean, my wife does, but ring and they're like, "I'm gonna be polite and not say anything." It's like,
that's all you need.
Yeah.
You just need your wife to think you're sexy. That's all you need, and you're there.
That is it. But speaking of freaks and comedians and stuff, I know that you talked about this in your thing or in a couple of your specials, but I also know that like comics make up stuff. Is the tooth thing real?
Yes. So I had 2 operations on my teeth, and I have a little jar of my teeth somewhere. And they actually found 4 mini teeth, because the problem is that when you tell a joke, you have to condense it.
Right.
Like your friend Damien said, you've got to take out all the words, but you sometimes have to take out parts of the story as well, to make sure that it all works and it keeps the rhythm.
Right.
But yeah, the reality was that the first operation they did, it didn't work. And it was like a 1 in 10 chance it would. The orthodontist actually said to me, and I remember this because I remember thinking that can't be right. He said, "Well, we're going to uncover the tooth and hope it heads towards the sunlight."
Is that a euphemism?
I don't know. I was like, that's not how teeth work. I mean, I know you're the orthodontist, but I'm pretty sure. What? I don't know whether he meant like he was explaining it to me because I was a child and he felt that he needed to talk extra slow. Don't know. So that didn't work. So but when they sort of had to remove teeth to get to the tooth that was up here, they found 4 mini teeth growing in the same spot, and they were all about that. Like they were tiny little weird mini teeth. So that's the real story.
Yeah. What I guess is kind of unfortunate that you didn't have like on both sides, because I know you're joking about
it. Would not have touched it. Would have just left it. Had 2 fangs just come out.
Yeah. Yo, say what?
All your ladies in your books have fangs. I've seen the pictures.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean that's more of a play on sci-fi, but like to go back to it, I do have to take some stuff back. Women don't hit on me anymore. All my friends still do, as evidence.
Oh, that's nice.
And Dan, thank you. Yes, I do have a sweet ass. Thank you, Dan.
That's nice. That's how you see. That's a friend.
Yeah.
You get that with your friends. You'll say, "Oh, I don't feel attractive," and your friends will go, "I think you're hot." And you're like, "Thanks, buddy. I think you're lying."
Dude, it's not even that. Like, I have a buddy Jude that every time he picks up the phone, he's like, "Hey, baby, what's up?" It's like, "Not much, man. How are you?"
Oh, that's nice, though. That's nice. Matt, is your wife gonna sort of have words? Hey,
no.
What's your language there?
No. She's gonna be like, yeah, you do. What's up?
That's nice.
Yeah.
What time is it there?
It is 3:20, so I think I'm 5 hours behind you.
Oh, wow. And what are you drinking?
I am drinking gin and juice because I know that your thing was, or you always talk about gin. So
don't blame this on me. I'm not an enabler. I'm on water.
Oh, yes, it's water. Look, it's clear. There's nothing here. No, but gin and I don't know how you drink your gin. I like it with pomegranate juice or a gin and tonic with lemon in it.
Oh, how lovely. Yeah, no, I like it with a bit of bitter lemon or a slimline tonic. That's my favorite. Any kind of sort of diet drink, really. My mom's a diabetic, so I sort of grew up, all of my drinks, none of my drinks had sugar in. Like when I actually tried proper Coke for the first time, I was just like, this is too, what? It was like drinking syrup. It was horrible. It was not even a drink.
So, I have a funny story about that. That's kind of recent, I guess. So I had my yearly like medical like checkup, I guess, this week.
Mm.
And, they take your blood and tell you how all your stuff's doing in it. And I probably on average drink like 2 or 3 Cokes a day because I fucking love it. It's one of those things where it's like, dude, if this didn't exist and I never knew about it, I wouldn't know any better. And that's probably the better way. But it's here, and I'm gonna play the American card and drink this shit right now. I'm gonna fucking do it. But I get my blood work back, and they're like, "Yeah, no, your sugar's good. Doesn't look like you're taking too much of it in." And I'm like, I kind of wonder what my natural blood sugar's like because I'm getting. Hold on, let me look at this. I'm probably getting 150 grams more sugar than I should be a fucking day. And if my blood sugar's normal, what the fuck?
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. My mom had this like habit of trying to test our blood sugar whenever we had pudding, which I think it was because she might have been a bit jealous, maybe. Like, because obviously being a diabetic, you can't have pudding necessarily all the time. And yeah, she used to make 2 puddings. One had the normal pudding with the normal recipe, and the other one was completely sugar-free. And then after we ate ours, she'd be like, right, let me test your sugar level. It's like, no, really, you keep it yourself. Thanks, Mom. No. But yeah, I don't know what your sugar level would be if you were drinking that much. It would be, you must have quite a sturdy pancreas.
I guess, which, I mean, like, hopefully I don't have to deal with pancreatic cancer later, but we'll see.
Oh my God, I hope not.
Well, I mean, no, the other thing is like both of my granddads are diabetic. So it's a generation. So like I'm expecting it to come. However, my granddad on my mom's side has the diabetes you get from eating too much cheese and weighing 500 pounds.
Type 2.
Yeah, and my granddad on my dad's side didn't get diagnosed with diabetes till he was 80. So I don't know how that works, but I don't plan to live to 80. So
wow, have you already set? So what's the date? Shall we have a party?
Dude, I don't know. So like on my dad's side of the family, like if we like look at my dad and my dad's dad and his dad and his dad, and as back far as we can trace it, on my dad, like the fraternal image, no one's died before 110 except for house fires and murders.
Oh, that's kind of good.
Yeah, but the other thing though too is like my dad's dad. Oh,
bye, Tommy.
Oh, bye, Tommy. But my dad's dad, he what I guess he was born in the 30s, right? So like he lived the whole like we're gonna take pictures in black and white and then get to color. We have a bunch of pictures of him in black and white back in the day, but literally zero of them, none of them is he in to where he's not so fucking drunk that other people are holding him up. And from what I hear from my aunts was he was a chain smoking alcoholic until like he was like 45. And then like on some random Tuesday, he decided, yeah, I'm not going to do that anymore. And then to quote them, he was a real mean son of a bitch for like 2 weeks and then went back to normal. So from what I'm gathering, I can keep smoking and drinking until I'm
till you're about 110.
Yeah. But anyway, Diane, it's been great having you here. Thank you
so much for inviting me.
Yeah, dude, it's been wonderful.
Yeah, it's been really nice to have a proper chat as well. Do you know what? If I hadn't got so mullered, not yesterday, but the day before, mullered, same as cunted.
Oh, okay.
Plastered, inebriated, wankered, fucked up. If I hadn't done that, I think I would have been drinking. But honestly, the state I put myself in 2 days ago, I can't. I need to, like, otherwise I'm going to put myself into a big problem. Oh, Daniel, thank you for watching. And it was really great to chat. Actually, I always do love chatting with other comics. It's really nice, especially about writing. So yeah, you can always write to me on various platforms and things. We're on them all, aren't we?
And then Diane, before you do go, can you tell everybody where they can find you?
Oh, you can find me on YouTube. If you put Diane Spencer Comedian into YouTube, you will find me. And do put comedian at the end, because otherwise you will have a lot of footage of Princess Diana. Yay! Which is fun. And you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Diane Spencer Fun. I do have a TikTok account, but I really just took it so I've got my own name, and that's it. I rarely post. I think I posted one video where I ripped some of my facial hair off with some sellotape. You know, I was trying to just fit in with the kids, and I just have to accept I'm not them.
All right, I'm not going to dig any more into the facial hair comment, but thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.